Welcome back to the Biz Alchemy podcast. I'm recording this on the day of the Libra new moon and solar eclipse, so the energies are strong. And I wouldn't normally record a podcast episode, it's Sunday here, but I just felt inspired. I've been doing my new moon meditation, intentions, pulled some cards, listened to one of my meditations, and I was just in such a clear, strong space. And I thought, I'm going to record the podcast now while I feel inspired. I've been immersed in nature this morning. I've had a beach walk and a swim, and I've seen dolphins and a humpback whale, and I've watched the bees and some flowers that are on the edge of the beach. And I've just been sitting out the back watching a magpie family. We've got a father and a mother and 3 little ones who are so noisy. Oh my gosh, you'll probably hear them in the background of this podcast. The noise they make, no wonder mum and dad are just constantly searching for food for them just to shut them up. Anyway, but it's so beautiful to watch. So I've been absorbed in that for a while. So I feel very connected with nature, with the elements, with the beings of the ocean, with the insects and the birds, and really in a state of harmony, I would say. And in many ways, that is exactly what this Libra new moon is about. And I think the eclipse energy is here because it is time for us to move into a new place of harmony. Harmony is what New Earth is about. Harmony is about the balance between the yin and the yang, or the harmony between the light and the dark, the harmony between everything that is in polarity on this planet. And when we move into that place of harmony, that inner balance, that sacred union within ourselves, that is when our consciousness shifts, or the frequency of our vibration changes to enable us to be in the frequency that we term New Earth, or which has commonly been called 5D. It's a vibrational frequency. It is a state. It's an internal state. And in many ways, today's topic about abundance in a New Earth business is exactly about that. What does abundance mean when we are in this New Earth vibrational frequency? So this has been in my thoughts because I chose this as the topic for my Biz Alchemy Playground membership for this month. And we've had one call, there's still one more call to have this month, but it's such an inspirational conversation, and just discussing it is assisting us to open up channels to how can our businesses become more abundant. What does abundance, or prosperity, if you like, mean in the New Earth? And so this conversation today is really an invitation. I don't have the answers. I'm not there yet. I dip in and out. When I was out watching the magpies, I was there. But I dip in and out. And I think I know that when I am working with my clients and with my groups, I am in the higher vibrational frequency that is New Earth. I'm there. I can feel it. I feel abundant in those spaces. I feel in flow in those spaces. But of course, I'm still operating in a world that also is very 3D, and so get pulled back. That's not, no, I'm going to rephrase that. I allow myself to move back into it, because it's not pulling me back. It doesn't have a hold over me. But my patterns and my programming is still strong enough that I find myself operating in a 3D limited mindset, shall we say. So we're becoming much more conscious of this. And this ties in a bit with this conversation around abundance in the New Earth, or because I'm talking business here on this podcast, abundance in your New Earth business. Now, even though we can consciously acknowledge that we know abundance is more than money. Because we have been operating in a third dimensional vibrational frequency, money has been a very strong component of abundance. Because we've been in separation from the earth, from nature, which is the ultimate abundance around us. And also because for us to attract in most things we require in our life to support us materially, money has been the medium of exchange. Now, this isn't to say it has to be, but that's been the system we've been programmed in. Now, I want to make this clear. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with money, and I know that there is a lot of work that possibly you've done and I have done around loving money. However, the money system that we currently have is not based on a system of truth. I'm not going to get into what's behind that money system here on the podcast, but there is a very dense energy that underlies that system. The money system that we have now, that really came from the time of the Knights Templar. It's often said that they were the first bankers, purely because when people were going on pilgrimage, they needed to take silver or whatever to pay their way for the many months that they were traveling to Jerusalem. And of course, you're not going to lug a whole lot of silver with you. Well, you can, but obviously it was a bit tempting for some people who might have had nothing and saw a pilgrim with silver. So the Knights Templar came up with a system where you would hand in your silver or I suppose your gold if you were really going to live it up in Jerusalem, and they would give you a note to say that this is how much you had deposited at a certain place, a certain castle, wherever they were based. And then you could travel further, and then you could go to the next castle, which was a Knights Templar treasury type place, and you could hand in your bit of paper and you could get the amount of silver. So it was sort of the first banking system. But it was based on something, okay? It was based on the fact that you actually did have silver and they had it. Now, paper money has always been that way, pretty much until 1971, when in the US, Nixon took the US dollar off the gold standard. And when that happened and the dollar was no longer backed by gold, then it really did just become paper. So it's been for the last 50 plus years that the energy of the money, the fiat system, changed. And it could be just printed ad infinitum, and very often was printed for things that were not always above board, shall we say. So this is the energy of that system. Now, me just giving that brief little summary and trying to keep it light will tell you that there is no way that that system can exist in New Earth. That system is not of the vibrational frequency of New Earth. And of course, you and I rely on that system at the moment for our way of living to support us because, so many things that we still require in our life and our business require the exchange of that paper. But now is the time for you to start contemplating what could your business look like in the New Earth frequency? How would it support you financially? What would, looking at a bigger picture of it, abundance look like for you? What would it feel like for you in New Earth? And I really want to play with this in my business. I mean, it's obvious, other than someone actually paying me money, which, isn't even the paper now, is it? It's some numbers on a computer. But other than someone paying me that, what else? This is what we were talking about on our call. What else could that be? And certainly I have used and continue to use exchanges with someone for their service. But where I'm really clear on that now is that I will only do that if their service is something that I actually really want at this time. Otherwise, there's a murkiness that comes in there. So exchange or bartering, that is a system, and I believe that that will be there. We will return to that much more in the New Earth. Actually, I'm not going to say in the New Earth because we're in the New Earth, but it's maintaining the frequency of New Earth. I also intuit that as the fiat system slowly disappears, because it will, we can see that. I mean, anyone with eyes to see can see that that system can't hold up the way it's operating now. And that's not a fearful thing. Do not go into fear around that, because there will be other systems. And actually, I mean, even in my playground on my frequently asked questions page, and I talk about payment, I actually give the option there of paying with cryptocurrency. So I have done that for a couple of years. No one at this point has taken me up on that offer, but if someone said, I'd like to pay you in cryptocurrency, I'd be completely open to that. I've got several wallets. I'd be like, yep, I'm happy to do that. So that's looking at an alternative for me now. If you've got a person-to-person business, I mean, that's where that exchange of things can really happen in a much more practical way. And I do believe that other methods of payment will emerge other than the current fiat system. For all we know, they're there ready to go, and it's just not been the right time to reveal them yet. So we don't necessarily have to know how this is going to look, but what is important is to open your receiving channels. That's the work that I was doing in my Patreon group with everyone, about opening your receiving channels for inspiration, for ideas, for how can you be supported in your business and in your life abundantly without going through that middleman of money. And I believe it is possible. Now, of course, there's a transition here. We are still using money. It's important, but start to think about what else could you add? How else could you pay for something or exchange something? Or actually something I came up with in our conversation was I was saying, I have a couple of diamond rings that I never wear. Well, maybe someone would love one of those diamond rings. I mean, then it's something of value they could sell, or it might be just something they love to wear. Could I exchange that for something? We have things of value that may not be of value to us, but are of value to someone else. Because ultimately, that's what it's about, isn't it? It's what's of value. It's like I said with exchanging sessions. Is it of value to you? And to take this one step further, remembering that your business is one channel of supporting you. We can put so much pressure on our business supporting us. I put that pressure on my business. I don't have a partner. For me, it's like I have to bring it in through my business. Everything I require must come through my business. But does it? Does it? That's putting a whole lot of pressure on my business when my business is actually just one channel. There are infinite channels. So it is about having all of those channels open, being aware of those channels. This is the new earth energy. This is about being open, fully in receptive mode. And if this is something you feel a little bit challenged around, that you do tend to have these fixed ideas about how abundance comes to you, I have many meditations in my Patreon channel, which is the Rose Line now. It was the receiving channel. And if you'd like to sample those meditations, there's about, I can't remember, maybe 25 on receiving. So if you would like to sample them, the first tier of my Rose Line membership, which is called the Rosebud, you can join that for 7 days. It's a free trial. And you can basically have a 7-day feast of all the meditations, and then you may choose to not join the channel, and that is fine. But I have all those meditations sitting there, and there is a free 7-day trial. So if you would like to open to receiving more and have those receiving channels open to assist you in this vibrational shift into New Earth, then check out my Patreon membership, patreon.com/Jacquelyn Atkins. I'll put the link in the show notes. And I am so okay with you doing that. If you want to just join, have the 7-day free trial, devour all of the receiving channel meditations, and then go, that's okay. You might find you actually really enjoy it and you enjoy the Roseline content and decide to hang around for a bit longer because it is only 14 Australian dollars a month for that tier. But if that's what you'd like to do, just have the receiving channel content, please do it. Help yourself. It is vital that your receiving channels are open to all the abundance available, because this is going to be a significant part of prosperity in the new earth, prosperity through your business, prosperity in your life in new earth. I'd love to hear your thoughts too. What are your ideas about abundance in the new earth? What other channels or what other ways, what other things could be exchanged for your services that you would just love? Like, I would love someone to cook my dinner every night. I would definitely exchange my services for that if you're local. But start to think about these things, because it doesn't mean that's what you're going to do, but it's to get the conversation started, to start opening up to new ways beyond the paper or the digits on your computer screen. Remember, as I say to my groups all the time, we are co-creating this. So I just get these little ideas and think, oh, I want to chat about that. I don't have the answers, because we are co-creating it. It's your energy and it's my energy coming together. We are co-creating New Earth as we shift our frequency, as we open up to new possibilities, to new ways of being, to living in harmony and connection, which is our true way of being. We live in amazing times. Remember that. Feel that in your heart. You are creating a new reality for this earth. Thanks so much for being on this journey with me.